Okay folks, so here's the kit you have been seeking. This is the 18-inch floor fan powered by a 100-watt solar panel, 12-volt system featuring a 18-inch blade floor fan, 20-inch overall dimension, so it's a good size floor fan, it's not a small one, running off of a 100-watt panel at 12 volts. This fan is capable of amazing performance. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. We're going to turn it on and talk about this a little further. So here we are. I got it up and running on high. As you can tell, it is moving along. That is plugged directly into the panel, so we are running off of sunlight only at this moment. There's no battery involved. This is running on high. This guy has really an amazing performance. We're at 2300 CFM on this speed setting. It is a 3-speed fan, so this being the high speed setting, we do have a medium and a low, and I'm going to click over to that here in just a second, give you a quick peek at it. Really a great option. I clicked this over to a low speed setting, and I wanted to spend a minute and kind of go a little bit in depth about how this fan might be powered. Right now, this fan is plugged directly into the panel, and I'm going to click to the next segment here in a second and kind of show you the connectors and stuff that go along with this. But before we do that, if you have an existing 100-watt panel that you have in your possession and you want to power this fan using your existing 12-volt 100-watt solar panel, this fan should plug directly into your panel and run. All panels are produced with standardized MC4 connectors, and there's a thing I'm going to go into on this here in just a second, but those connections on the back of 100-watt panels that have the connectors are standardized, and the cord that goes onto this fan is standardized to match those connectors. So without further ado, I'm going to flip this over. We're going to take a quick look, and we're going to talk a little bit also about how this might run with existing solar and battery systems. Okay, so here's what we got going on. This is the prototype fan. So just realize when you're looking at a prototype, these cords are standardized on the production model and have actually a heavier gauge. But coming off of the back of the fan, we've got a cord. And the way we've done this is we've engineered this so that, we'll get this into the sunlight so you can actually see this. The fan is plugged directly into the panel. And I'm going to go ahead and back these off. I'm going to pause the video real quick. I'm going to separate these, and I'm going to just kind of explain what that is and how this works if you have an existing panel. Okay, these are the leads coming off of the back of the solar panel. This would be the positive. This is a positive MC4 connector. So this would be conducting the positive. And in terms of the negative off of the panel, we would have this connector. This would be the negative MC4 connector for the panel. Now the way we've set this up, we have male and female, positive, negative on the fan. And they're set up in such a way that this being the positive on the fan, okay, this is the fan positive, is going to plug into the panel positive. So that gets you positive to positive, and then the reverse goes on with the negative. So it just plugs in directly to an existing panel. This is pretty well standardized convention in panel manufacturing. The positive is always going to have this connector on it. The negative is always going to have this connector. And we've got the reverse fitting on that on the fan so that it just plugs direct. Now, if you have an existing system where you've got maybe the solar and battery set up, and you've got a 100-watt panel, you got a battery, you got a charge controller, you got load terminals that you can wire onto for powering things off of your solar and battery, and you wanted to plug this fan in, it should run it. Any 10 amp charge controller will be perfect for this. 20 amp charge controller will run it just fine. The fan is rated at 5 amps, and what you would do is you would get the positive MC4 connector with, a foot of wire on it, and wire that onto the positive terminal of your solar charge controller, and your fan positive will plug into this, and then you would get the negative MC4 connector with a little bit of wire, and you would wire that onto the negative terminal of your charge controller, and the negative for the fan would just plug into this, and then that gives you a direct wire onto the charge controller to power your fan. Bear in mind, this is a 12 volt system. This is not a 24 volt or 36 volt system, nor is it a 5 or 6 volt system. This is 12. And you should have a good long life out of this guy. It runs great with battery. In terms of overnighting, I would say 100 AH should be pretty good. I think that'll work out real well for you. And I think, a couple of 300 watts paired up with that 100 AH battery should give you a pretty nice operation that's pretty continual. There is some considerations with weather and charging and so on, and that's sort of common with solar and battery systems. So, if you are, sizing a standby for this, you might want to go to maybe even 200 amp hours of storage, or 225, depending on, what your weather situation might look like, and depending on, what your latitude might look like. And, as well, when you go to a larger size battery, you're most likely going to find right out of the gate, if you don't already know, you got to scale up your solar. So, you might want to consider the fact that, a large battery, larger size of panels, and I know some folks do have some decent sized 12 volt systems out there. Folks that have inquired about 48 and 36 volt systems and 24 volt systems, we just don't have it at this time. I'm definitely looking around to see if we can get some kind of a step down that we can put on this for you, so that, you can get some good use of it. Especially with that step down, you find your efficiency to be quite amplified. I just encourage you to get in touch if you have any questions. I encourage you to visit our website, and anyway, links are below. Thanks for your interest, and we appreciate your time.